So now let us discuss the other half of the lesson, so which is fundamental duties. So till now we have studied about the fundamental rights, say the things which are given by constitution for us. But at the same time, so the constitutional makers, in the making of constitution they were not included, but later, in the after several years, these fundamental duties were also included in our constitution. See, the duties and rights, they go hand in hand. There can be no rights in a society where there are no duties. So the purpose of including these fundamental duties was, when you are enjoying a right, at the same time you have to be sincere towards, doing your duties towards the society. So for example, if we have the right to life, it is our duty to respect others' life and not to injure other person. So when we enjoy the right to life as a fundamental right, then at the same time we must also do the duty of, not harming others. So this becomes a duty and we enjoy the right on both hand. So these rights and duties both go hand in hand. Similarly, the right to freedom, we have to we get like a fundamental right, and in the same way we have to also follow, we have to respect others freedom, and the freedom which we want for ourselves, we should also respect the freedom which others enjoy. So it becomes the right itself become a duty in the same manner. So in one way I'm having a right to freedom, and the other way I have to respect others freedom. So it was in keeping with these ideals, okay, fundamental duties were incorporated in the Constitution of India. So just to remind people about the ideals of, to bring about the highest moral values in society, even duties were included in the Constitution. So after understanding what are fundamental duties, now let us understand what are these kinds of fundamental duties. So before that, these fundamental duties have been added to Constitution in Part 4 by bringing 42nd Amendment to the Constitution. And in Part 4, the Article 51A will especially deals about these fundamental duties. So what are these fundamental duties? Let us learn one by one. To abide by the Constitution and respecting the ideals of institutions created by it. That means, we have to obey the Constitution and work accordingly. We should not be extra constitutional, and we should always work, in the boundary created by Constitution and its institutions like legislature, executive and judiciary. They are all the institutions created by it. So we have to obey these kind of institutions created. We should respect our national flag and national anthem, so which becomes our important duty. To cherish and follow the noble ideals of our freedom fighters. So the freedom fighters, in bringing the, in leading the national movement and bringing independence, they have followed certain great ideals, like you take Mahatma Gandhi's non-violence, many such great ideals were given. So we should always cherish those, we should always feel proud, and we should always follow such ideals to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the country, and to defend the country in the national service. See, our country is diversified with lot of religions and lot of cultures, with lot of castes and many different sections. So in spite of such diversity, we should always be together and we should always be integrated, so that the self rule will be possible. If we are not integrated, if we are not united, there is always chance for disintegration and the country becoming divided. So to not happen such things, we should always be united and integrated, so that our sovereignty will be protected always. And whenever the country is in danger, it is our duty to defend the country. So it also become a fundamental duty. So by joining national service in army and all, so it becomes our fundamental duty. Nobody will compel you, force you to join the Indian army, but it becomes as a duty, so that many people go and will defend the country in the borders. So to promote harmony and spirit of brotherhood among the different religions we have. So even though we are diversified, we should not hate each other and try to divide, and live. So even though we are separate in our cultures and language we speak and the religion we belong, we should always remain together like brothers, so that this country will also remain together. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. So in our culture, there are some good aspects, like we have to respect women, treat children kindly. So many such things are there. Do not harm animals. Many such things are there. So let us all value such great culture and heritage. We got many great monuments built by our kings and many rulers who ruled India. It is our duty to protect such heritage as well as the values given by them. And also all following such things will become our fundamental duty to protect and improve the natural environment. Like in the country we live, we have a lot of forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and now it is our duty to protect them, so that the environment of the country will also be very healthy. And it is our duty to protect the creatures which are living in this country. So all this will become our fundamental duty. So developing scientific temper and humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reform also comes under the duties of people. Like the country, in various forms, the scientists and all will be promoting the scientific temper among the young generation, and also humanism, the concept of humanism, where all human beings are equal, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. So philosophically, we have to be always updated, and all these kind of things will also become our duties, and to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. So which means so that the nation can constantly rise to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. So if everybody tries to improvise their skills in every sphere where they are good at. So as a student, you are good at, you have to be properly get educated, you have to get proper behavior and everything. So if you take your parents, they have to make you study, they have to earn and make the family living and everything. So if everybody works for excellence in all the spheres where they work, so and individually and collectively, if everybody tries to come together and work, definitely this country will rise to higher levels. So it will definitely become very much developed. So working for our collective working and individual working at our areas which we are best at will definitely become a duty, so that our country also will progress. And it is the duty of a parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, so that between 6 to 14 years. So the governments will provide free education for children, but it is a duty of the guardian or the parents to allow the child or provide the child an opportunity to get educated. So they should not restrict the childhood just by sending them to works or some other thing. So instead they have to give the child opportunity to learn, to get educated. And the class K was added by constitution in the act of 2002 for this purpose. So this is about the fundamental duties. And what is the importance of these fundamental duties? So that, see, the primary importance is to make the citizens aware about their social and economic responsibilities. Okay, how they have to be in society, how they have to be economically responsible for society, all such to make the citizens aware of these things, and also to warn them to do or not to do certain things in the interest of the country. So fundamental duties will make the citizens to understand what things they have to do so that the country will progress, what things they should not do for the non-development of this country. So they should always have this awareness. For creating such awareness, these fundamental duties were incorporated to protect and awaken the people to their cultural heritage. So to always remind ourselves that from what great culture we have come from, and what great ideals we have. So we always follow this always we have to perform these fundamental duties to tame the unruly elements in society. That means there will be definitely anti-social elements, illegal elements in society. So they should be controlled in a very they should be controlled in a very prescribed manner. Even though they are anti-social elements and other things, they are our citizens. So they should be controlled in a proper manner, so that fundamental duties will create such awareness among them. And also to strengthen the national harmony as they stir up patriotism. Once all these fundamental duties are followed by citizens, definitely it results in harmony of the country, which will develop patriotism. That means having devotion to our country. And the major fundamental, there is a difference between fundamental rights and duties. If your fundamental rights are denied or violated, you can go to the court of law. The courts will involve and they can enforce these fundamental rights. But fundamental duties cannot be enforced by the courts. You cannot have, they are not justiciable. Fundamental rights are non-justiciable, whereas fundamental rights are justiciable. Fundamental duties are non-justiciable. Fundamental rights are justiciable. Why they have not allowed the courts to impose? Because it is a moral aspect. You cannot dictate terms to be like this and like that, and you cannot forcefully make this huge populated country to follow such duties. But it becomes a duty for every individual. You cannot force somebody, and you cannot monitor it properly through legal system. So these fundamental duties were non-justiciable, but morally they become compulsory to our existence. So the picture in this slide resembles that when you know your rights, you also should be aware of your duties. When you enjoy the rights and parallelly, if you perform your duties for this country, definitely this nation will have a balance with every aspect, and it definitely progresses. So the fundamental rights and fundamental duties of the Constitution will enable the country to progress in a very balanced manner. So this is about the chapter Salient Features of the Constitution 1, where fundamental rights and duties are covered.